My life was pretty normal until I met him. Let's call him Alex. At first, everything felt like a fairy tale. He was charming, attentive, and made me feel like the only person in the world. We moved in together pretty quickly, and for a while, it was perfect. But slowly, things started to change. It began with small comments, little digs at my friends, my hobbies, my career. He'd say things like, "Are you sure you want to wear that?" Or "Your friends don't really get you like I do." I brushed it off, thinking he was just being protective. I was wrong. The control escalated. He wanted to know where I was every second of the day. He'd create arguments out of thin air, then twist my words until I was the one apologizing, even when I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. This is a classic manipulation tactic called gaslighting. It makes you question your own sanity, your own reality. The financial control came next. He encouraged me to quit my job, saying he could take care of us. It sounded romantic at the time, like he wanted to build a life where I could relax and pursue my passions. But the reality was, it was another chain to bind me to him. Once I was financially dependent, he held it over my head. Every purchase, no matter how small, became a point of contention. I had to ask for permission to buy groceries, to get a haircut. I felt trapped, powerless, and completely alone. The vibrant, confident woman I used to be was gone, replaced by a timid, anxious person who was constantly walking on eggshells. I knew, deep down, that this wasn't right. This wasn't love, but leaving felt impossible. He had woven such a complex web of control and manipulation that the thought of breaking free was terrifying. He'd often say things like, "You'd be nothing without me," and a part of me actually believed him. The breaking point came during a phone call with my sister. She said, "I don't recognize you anymore. This isn't you. You need to come home." Hearing those words from someone who knew me my entire life was like a splash of cold water to the face. It was the crack in the facade he had so carefully constructed. For the first time in a long time, I saw the situation for what it was: emotional abuse. Leaving was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I packed a bag while he was at work, my hands shaking so badly I could barely zip it up. I called my sister, and she drove 3 hours to come and get me, no questions asked. The moment I got in her car and we pulled away from that curb, I felt a mix of terror and overwhelming relief. I was free, but I also knew the fight was just beginning. Alex wasn't the type to let go easily, and I was right. The moment he realized I was gone, the real nightmare began. He started a smear campaign that was more vicious than I could have ever imagined. He didn't just tell people we broke up. He created a whole new reality. He told our mutual friends that I had cheated on him, that I had stolen money from him, that I was unstable. He used the very insecurities he had created in me as weapons against me. He knew my deepest fears, and he exploited every single one of them. He took to social media, posting long, dramatic statuses about how his heart was broken by my supposed betrayal. He painted himself as the victim, the loving partner who had been wronged by a manipulative and cruel woman. And people believed him. Messages started pouring in. Some were from friends, confused, asking for my side of the story. But many were from his followers, people I barely knew, attacking me, calling me horrible names. My phone buzzed constantly with notifications of hate. He didn't stop there. He contacted my former workplace, telling them lies about my professional conduct. He tried to ruin my reputation, to make it impossible for me to get another job. He even reached out to my family, trying to turn them against me with his fabricated stories. It was a full-scale assault on my life, my character, and my sanity. He was trying to destroy me, to erase me, to make sure that if he couldn't have me, no one else would, and I would have nothing left. For a few weeks, I crumbled. I felt like I was drowning in his lies. The world he was painting was so detailed, so convincing, that even I started to question what was real. That's the insidious nature of this kind of abuse. It continues even after you've left. The abuser tries to control the narrative, to isolate you from any potential support, to make you feel like you truly are the monster they claim you are. I barely ate. I couldn't sleep. The anxiety was crippling. But then, something shifted. I looked at the pile of lies he had built, this monstrous monument to his own insecurity, and a different feeling started to bubble up through the fear and the sadness. It was anger, not a destructive anger, but a clarifying, motivating anger. How dare he? How dare he try to write my story for me? How dare he try to silence me after everything he had put me through? I had survived him. I had survived his control, his manipulation, his abuse. I would be damned if I let his lies be the final chapter. So, I decided to fight back, not with hate, not with anger, but with the one thing he couldn't stand, the truth. I didn't engage with him directly. I blocked him on everything. Arguing with a manipulator is like playing chess with a pigeon. It'll just knock over the pieces, make a mess on the board, and strut around like it won anyway. Instead, I focused on rebuilding my own reality. I started by reaching out to the people who mattered, my true friends, my family. I sat them down and I told them everything, not the clean, edited version, but the raw, ugly, painful truth of what my life had been like for the past 2 years. I showed them text messages he had sent. I recounted conversations word for word. I didn't ask them to pick a side. I just asked them to listen. And they did. They saw the truth, and they rallied around me with a ferocity that brought me to tears. Then, I started collecting evidence. Not for a court case, but for my own peace of mind. Every lie he posted, I took a screenshot. Every nasty message he had a friend send me, I saved it. I created a file, a digital record of his campaign of lies. It wasn't about revenge. It was about validation. It was proof that I wasn't crazy, that this was really happening. It was my truth, in black and white. With my support system firmly in place, I began to reclaim my life. I went to therapy to unpack the trauma and learn to trust my own judgment again. It was incredibly difficult work, but so necessary. I started rebuilding my career from the ground up, networking and proving my worth through my actions, not his words. I focused on my health, started exercising, and reconnected with hobbies he had made me give up. Slowly but surely, the person I used to be started to reappear. As I got stronger, his lies started to lose their power. People began to see the inconsistencies in his stories. They saw me thriving, moving on, living a positive life, while he was still stuck in his loop of bitterness and negativity. The truth has a way of shining through, even when someone tries to bury it under a mountain of lies. His smear campaign eventually fizzled out because it was built on nothing. Looking back, the experience was horrific, but it taught me so much. It taught me about my own strength, about the incredible power of a true support system, and about the importance of trusting your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Abusers thrive in silence and isolation. They want you to believe their version of reality. But your reality is your own, and no one has the right to take that from you. If you are in a situation that feels anything like mine, please know you are not alone, and it is not your fault. Reach out to someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or a professional. There are resources available to help you. Leaving is scary, but staying is so much scarier. You deserve to be happy, to be safe, and to be in control of your own story. My ex tried to destroy my life with his lies, but in the end, I destroyed his lies with my truth. And that is a victory that no one can ever take away from me. Thank you for listening. Remember to like and subscribe for more stories of strength and survival.